Do the Packer fans, the stockholders in the Green Bay Packers, have a right to be mad with Matt LaFleur? And the answer is yes, they should be enraged. Enraged is the proper adjective here. You've got the diaper, chess adage, and hamburger helper. And we will connect all of this together. Now, first of all, Matt LaFleur completely botched the end of the game. This was his first real Waterloo moment as coach in Green Bay. And I know he's been there a couple years now, but this is why you get paid to be the head coach. These are the type of decisions. You can't check in with anybody. There's no secret computer somewhere, I think, that you can turn to in this situation. But it's really a simple wager, right? Do you bet on a franchise quarterback, or do you bet on your 12th rated defense? That's where the Packer defense was, and that's a defense that's numbers were inflated because of some weaker competition that Green Bay went against. But the decision, when it was his moment of truth, Matt LaFleur soiled the diaper that he was wearing on the sidelines. He soiled it. He pooped the diaper. He bet on his defense, and right now he is packing his station wagon and heading on a nice vacation. I don't know where he's going, but he's going somewhere. Another wasted Green Bay season, something that we have come used to. Well, you get to a certain point in the playoffs, and then kaput. The trap door opens up. Last couple of years, it's been the NFC Championship game, and then Green Bay falls into the pit of vipers. So where have we seen this before? It's pretty much everywhere. But this was, the word toothless would apply. This was a toothless decision. Any way you slice it. If you're going to lose, you want to lose with your big gun, right? I think that's basic human logic in when you break down as anything kind of a contest, but we're talking about sports here. But if you're the Packers, you want to go down with Aaron Rodgers having a chance to throw the ball in the end zone, and then you get the ball again right there after that 2-point conversion, you tie the game. And then you still have those timeouts. Now, the second part of this, to play devil's advocate with the thinking of Matt LaFleur, in his neurosis, he imagined a parallel dimension where with Mason Crosby kicking the field goal, 3 timeouts, LaFleur expected the Packers defense to hold Tom Brady. And Brady, to be fair, had been very wobbly in the second half. You can't argue with that. He was bad in the second half. You could love Tom Brady and suck his toes, but he was terrible, right? I mean, he was bad in the late stage of the third and the fourth quarter, and there were passes that were floating. He was throwing passes that the receivers couldn't catch, bouncing off their hands that were intercepted. But so the plan was to obviously get the ball back, and then Rodgers would have a chance to win the game with maybe a minute to go, and you get a touchdown, you win the game. The best laid plans of mice, men, and the Green Bay Packers head coach, but you go for it on 4th down from the 8-yard line because you don't want to be the team kicking field goals of less than 30 yards. You don't want to be that team. And Matt LaFleur on this one wears the dunce cap. He's the dum-dum. Right? He is the dum-dum for 2 reasons. A, even if you don't convert the 4th down, let's say Aaron Rodgers throws a pass that goes over Devontae Adams, goes out of the end zone, you're still down by 1 score, and you still need the 2-point conversion with 3 timeouts left. Tampa would have taken over on downs deep in their own territory. So field position-wise, you'd still be deep in your, if you get a stop and they got to punt it back, you're still in really good shape as far as the field position is concerned. And the Packers could have then played defense to dig out of the hole conceivably. And then the part B of this, you leave the game in the hands of supposed MVP quarterback, which Aaron Rodgers is going to win the MVP award by most accounts. You allow him to make the play. It's the old line, you dance with the one that brought you to the championship game. And Matt LaFleur, he sucked at a time you cannot suck. And there's an old chess adage that applies here. A bad plan is better than no plan. See, he had a bad plan, Matt LaFleur, but at least he had a plan, right? At least it was amateur hour. Now, he goes against the orthodoxy of football, which is not always a bad thing, but this is not the time or the place to do it. You got to be loyal to the one that got you to that particular point. This was a tremendous lack of loyalty. And how rare is it? The Packers on Sunday in the NFC Championship game, we are told, became the first team, the very first to attempt a field goal when trailing by 4 to 8 points in the final 3 minutes of a game since Dan Quinn and the Atlanta Falcons did it in a loss to the 49ers, and that was back 6 years ago in 2015. So you don't want to be compared to Dan Quinn. There have been 10 teams, if you go back to the start of the 2000s, 21 years now, I guess 20 plus some change. But over the last 20 years plus, there have been 10 teams that have decided to kick a field goal in that spot. The only one to come out of it that won the game, the Lions, also in 2015. Jim Caldwell was coaching the Lions then, did it against the Bears. But to kick a field goal down 7, and they did with 2:46 to play, got the ball back, scored a touchdown with 21 seconds left, and they won the game in overtime. They allowed a field goal on the final play, won the game in overtime. So the point is, Caldwell's Lions, the only one over the last 20 years to have won a game doing what Matt LaFleur decided to do. All right, final thought. So the Green Bay Packers, as a franchise, have managed to do less with more over the years. You're talking about almost 30 years of elite quarterback play. It's something that we bring up every year when the Packers fail, which is pretty much every year. It's like the Swallows returning to Capistrano. Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, and they have not been paying dividends, at least with that little dopey trophy. Brett Favre took over in 1992. Brett Favre started as the Packers quarterback in 1992 for the first time, and so for the past 28 seasons, the Cheeseheads have had a Hall of Fame quarterback. And what do they have to show for it? Now, they have 2 Super Bowls. They have won 2. Favre won 1. Rodgers won 1. And a cornucopia of broken hearts and broken dreams in the plus. But wait, there's more. All right? Because following the NFC Championship game, Aaron Rodgers, we have the audio on this. We're going to jump ahead to cut 3. Aaron Rodgers was asked about his future in Green Bay. He is under contract for 3 more seasons. There is an out. The Packers, if they wanted to get rid of Aaron Rodgers, could get out of it. He gave a very vague answer. Let's go to the audio tape. Here's Aaron Rodgers addressing his tenuous future in Wisconsin.
There's a lot of unknowns going into this offseason now. I'm going to have to take some time away for sure and clear my head and just kind of see what's going on with everything. But it's pretty tough right now, especially thinking about the guys that may or may not be here next year. There's always change. That's the only constant in this business. It's really tough to get to this point. Really, really tough, especially with it only being 1 bye week in the playoffs. It's a grind just to get to this point. And that makes the finality of it all kind of hit you like a ton of bricks. That's why it's a gutting feeling in your stomach.
I feel that way when I have a bad show. No. When I have a bad show, I feel the same way. I just feel sick to my stomach. I want to puke, which is any day that ends in a Y, pretty much. Any day that ends in a Y. All right, so Rodgers, you heard the audio tape. That is being parsed. We are going to parse it right now. A lot of unknowns going into the offseason now. When you look at Rodgers, he's very passive-aggressive. You got to look at this through the eyes of Aaron Rodgers. Passive-aggressive guy. I'm telling you what. Here's what I expect. I expect to hear Aaron Rodgers' name tossed out in the gossip mill over the next couple of weeks, couple of months. I would be surprised if it's not. And if you are the 49ers, the Rams, the Patriots, don't you have to do your due diligence and contact the Packers and go through the intermediaries and try to reach Aaron Rodgers and say, hey, how would you like to play for my team? What do you think? You want to wear ram horns on your head? How about the 49ers? You want to play for the Niners? You're the team that passed you over in the draft back in the day for Alex Smith? Or you go down the list. And the usual suspects that need quarterbacks. But I'm telling you, this is going to be a story. It's not a one-day story. It's something that's going to be lurking in the background. And so this is what's known as the hamburger helper of trade rumors. Right? You get a lot of clicks, get a lot of clout by tossing out every wild scenario about Aaron Rodgers to team X, Y, and Z. It works. You get social media traction. You get a lot of attention on dopey shows like this, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So Aaron Rodgers, though, I promise you this, whether or not he has played his final game as a Green Bay Packer, Aaron Rodgers has been stewing He has been stewing ever since that virtual draft in 2020 when the Packers decided to trade up and get a quarterback. And it hasn't obviously affected his play on the field. He put up an MVP season this year in Green Bay, but I would not be shocked. I'd be very surprised if he's not working through back channels to be traded. I would not be shocked if he's making waves behind the scenes, and because he can make the Packer executives very uncomfortable.